For 80 years, the United States has used economic sanctions as its primary tool for enforcing global order without deploying a single soldier. Getting placed on the Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control, or OFAC list, usually means an entity is immediately locked out of the global financial system and cut off from the US dollar. In May 2026, Washington aimed this tool at 5 independent Chinese oil refineries, accusing them of purchasing millions of barrels of discounted crude oil from Iran. In the past, companies hit with these restrictions folded to avoid financial collapse. But this time, the Chinese Ministry of Commerce issued its first formal blocking order. This directive creates a domestic legal mandate for Chinese entities to entirely ignore American government restrictions. This move marks a shift from verbal protests to active resistance, targeting the specific mechanics that have given U.S. sanctions their power for decades. China maintains its position as the world's largest importer of oil, requiring a massive, constant energy supply to power its economy. A crucial segment of that supply chain flows through independent processing plants, often called teapot refineries, concentrated in Shandong Province on the East Coast. These operators rely on shipments of discounted crude oil from Iran to keep their facilities running and maintain their margins. For the leadership in Beijing, protecting this fuel supply is a matter of state power and national security. If the government allowed these 5 refineries to fail under foreign pressure, they would essentially be conceding control over their own energy independence to Washington. To protect these firms, Beijing engineered a dual compliance trap for global financial institutions. Under the new blocking order, if a bank operating in China freezes a targeted company's assets to obey U.S. sanctions, that bank is now committing a violation of Chinese law. Multinational banks are suddenly caught in the middle, forced to choose between the financial penalties of the U.S. Treasury or legal retaliation from Beijing. To keep the refineries running, China utilizes its cross-border interbank payment system, or CIPS, which allows these firms to process transactions without using the US dollar clearing network. They are also conducting these energy trades using the digital yuan, which moves through channels the West cannot monitor. Furthermore, the Chinese government has promised to absorb the financial losses and compensate these companies for any damages caused by the US designations. By pairing legal threats for compliance with state-backed alternative payment channels, China has built a financial loop that is insulated from American interference. The timing of this shield is critical, as 40% of the world's crude oil currently navigates a volatile blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. With peace talks between the U.S. and Iran stalling, Beijing is using the disruption to challenge a Washington administration already managing multiple global crises. This defiance also grants Beijing more leverage ahead of the planned summit between Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping. Across the global south, other nations are watching this defense strategy carefully. In the past, sanctioned nations lacked the economic weight to resist. Now, China is demonstrating that a secondary, viable financial path is possible. Beijing has provided the technical and legal evidence that a large economy can survive a total cutoff from Western finance. As these parallel networks expand, the status of the U.S. Treasury as the mandatory gatekeeper of global trade becomes optional.